Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, will you come and join me just for a minute and imagine how amazing you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value for others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you, it makes a very happy life. And so can Brittany Moore. She comes highly recommended by John Celestine Lakin from episode 104. Brittany's my guest star today, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. Hey, Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hi, Matt. Thank you so much for having me. And if Jean is listening, I'm so glad that she connected us.
Me too. Well, why don't you get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world?
Yes. So my first company is Be More Organized, and I founded that company in 2011. And what I've really realized over the years is that I used to think my God-given skill that was the most impactful was organization. And it's really evolved over time where I realized there's so much more depth below that. And I realized that my drive that is at the depth and the root of that desire for organization is truly efficiency and understanding someone's pain and how I strive. And I feel like my passion is actually to solve that pain. And really, I'm sure we're going to get into that, but that really is the epitome of my story and how I look at someone's pain, because I can so easily relate to so many different types of painful experiences in life that I've honestly kind of, at this point, I feel like I've had the benefit of experiencing because I've been able to take so many of those painful experiences and turn them into something good. And I think that is at the root of what I would pray and hope that all of us could do with our pain, is turn it into a passion that can fuel a purpose in our lives.
Love that. And I think you also, you found another company called Move More Boxes. And folks,
Yes,
when she
that's
says
right.
be more organized and move more boxes, she spells more in a funny way with two O's, because that's her last name. So tell us,
Yes.
Brittany, about Move More Boxes.
Yes. So yes, my name is Brittany Moore, obviously. And so my team loves to use my name in the names of companies. Honestly, it's getting a little old. I think we're going to stop that soon. But yeah, so Be More Organized essentially is the services company where we serve clients in both home organization and moving concierge services. And so from years of doing moving concierge services, what I really realized is there's some wonderful and efficient tools that we have available to us to increase that efficiency, reduce that damage rate, and serve clients in a more cost-effective way. And so what I've created in Move More Boxes is an existing product, but we're making it, of course, more efficient. And it is a reusable plastic boxes company. And so it partners with moving companies to reduce the need for cardboard across the industry. The goal is that cardboard is not the most efficient thing for us to be moving with anymore. Reusable boxes is great for the environment. It's also great for the wallet. It's about half the cost of a cardboard box, and it reduces damage rate because it's a lot safer. The boxes can't break and tear because you were silly and you overfilled your boxes with too many books. So it just adds a lot of benefit. And most people spend about $1,000 to $2,000 at the end of the day hauling off all that trash. And so we're really able to save clients a lot of money.
Love it. Did you know that you have an appointment for a guy that's driving around in a 24-foot Sprinter van to see how you can help him get more organized?
I do. I saw you pop up on the calendar and I was like, what is this? I love
it. I'll be down in Austin, so I'm looking forward to, we'll talk about that later, but
Stop. Oh, I'm so excited. Are we going to organize your van?
I hope so. I've got not only that, Brittany, but I've got a business idea for you that we'll talk about.
I'm
But
excited.
but this is about you. So
Okay.
let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula. It's a simple
Yes.
but very powerful equation that goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your
Okay.
personal practices for building up all the power you need to get things done, whether it's physically or mentally or financially or spiritually or emotionally? In other words, Brittany, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the power you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
Absolutely. It's a really good question. And I think it is I love that you focus on it because I do think it's the secret power, not to like reuse the word, but like it is the secret power of, I think, any successful entrepreneur. You can be really great at business, but you'll end up burning yourself out and
Yep,
burning yourself for burning bridges with relationships. And
yep,
so I don't know that a full balance is possible every day. I think every day we're always going to be off balance in one or area, but the idea is that you're always kind of aiming to see that. So for me, from a physical perspective, I really try to walk every day. My son and I have a 4-year-old. We take a walk every morning before school. We also take a walk every evening when we get home, picking him up from school, whether it's a bike ride or sometimes he still just loves me pushing him in a stroller. And I'm like, hey, I
mm,
get it. I'd love someone to push me in a stroller.
yes, ma'am.
So, so for me, I really try to do non-stressful workouts. I'll lift weights and I'll do things like that, but I do it in a very like non-stressful way to just my body. From a mental perspective, I would really say it's just reading and sitting outside. Sometimes I think as an entrepreneur and as a mom, we, I just want alone time sometimes.
Mm-hmm,
And I think the demands on entrepreneurs, like you really do sometimes just want that, like no one's trying to text me, no one's emailing me.
mm-hmm,
And so that really flows straight into spiritual for me. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day. My first 30 minutes is my quiet time with God, where I do some
mm,
devotionals, I read my Bible, and then that flows straight into my emotional time, which is I journal and I reflect. And then I'm usually really inspired and like got my juices flowing after I'm done journaling and spending time with God, where I jump straight into my creative margin time. And that's just where I move the needle. What is the next thing I want to do? I maybe write something new on my dream board. And so yeah, it's having that time in the morning, I think, is so important. And we see that a lot with really successful CEOs. And so I think it's really important to find that time because no one is grasping for your attention. And
yep,
you really do have time to yourself to think, which is rare.
yep, yep. Very good. Wonderful, Brittany. Well, let's dive into my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. Kaizen life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. And it creates this optimistic, gentle, but powerful and continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So, Brittany, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Honestly, I think it's being really efficient. When you're trying to do new things and big things and forge new paths, when you're trying to balance work and employees and being a leader and serving on a board or being a mom, and you're balancing all these things, you have to learn to be super efficient with your time. You don't have time to waste on things that adding value to your life in really one of your power ways, one of the ways that we just reviewed, right? And so for me, I I have a schedule and I am live and die by my calendar. If it tells me to be somewhere, I just follow it. If someone puts a address on my calendar and gets a hold of my calendar one day, I might end up in China. I don't know. Like I go where my calendar says. So if I'm really religious about that, that if I say I'm going to work out and it's on my calendar and I've got a 30-minute spot for it, I do it. If I
Yep.
say I've got a meeting and it's 30 minutes, I do it. And so I think having organization to your life and that will really help you drive that balance. And so that physical time, that emotional time, that spiritual time that you need in your calendar. And for me, I think one of the other elements of that, talking about the mental capacity of this, is I think you really have to learn to reframe failure as a
Mm,
learning experience, because I think when you're creating something new and you're forging that new path, you inevitably will stumble, you will fail, you
yeah,
will have challenges. And what's going to hold you back mentally is looking at those things as failures. I think I, quote unquote, as the world sees it, fail every
yeah,
single day. And I choose to look at it as an opportunity that did not work. What's going to work, that's super exciting. We're going to figure out how to do this better so that this doesn't happen again. And
yeah.
so I would say it's really that for me, is that reframing that definition.
Yeah, you can look at a failure as a learning of something not to do. And that's very Kaizen-y because now you don't have to go down that path again. So you're starting further up. And then you figure out another thing, you do it and it works, so you hang on to it. Then you try another thing and it doesn't work, so you let it go and you just keep advancing. So every day you're starting at a higher level than you did the day before, even if that
Yep.
higher level was based on learning something not to do.
Yep.
It,
It
yeah,
takes a mental strength, I will say, though. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. I
no,
swear there are days I'm like, I wouldn't wish entrepreneurship on my worst enemy. Like,
oh,
this
but it's
is
so
hard stuff.
it is, but it's so awesome too. As I know you know. There's also, Brittany, there's stages of it. And I can
Hmm.
remember in my life, I used to get up at 4:41 every morning, did my reading, did all my calendar was all that. And now I wake up when I want to wake up. I do the things that I want to do. And so there is a
How
time
do
in
I get
life.
there? How do I
Yeah,
get there?
you're on your way. You are on your way. The other thing you mentioned, I want to talk about is, as you mentioned, when you're really busy, you have to be efficient, but you also can't waste time on things that aren't important. So just give us a minute or so on how you determine what is and what isn't important.
I really try to evaluate if it's a new software I'm adding, if it's a consultant that I'm wanting to meet with, if it's a vendor that I'm meeting with, because like right now, for instance, I want to add candles to our product line, if you will. Every home that we organize, I want to leave a beautifully scented, clean, simple, elegant candle that is
Mm,
a reminder of us. And we're trying to find more ways to do that, to leave our homes branded in an elegant way with Be More Organized. And so I'm meeting with candle vendors. And so so I set up phone calls with them, but before I schedule all these in person with 3 or 4 different vendors, I do my research. And so I really think that that's the biggest part, is not jumping before you understand like what is the value that's going to be derived from this, and understanding the data behind it. Is this person successful? How many other clients do they have? Do they have a wide range of products? Is it really worth my time? Can I boil this down to just 2 meetings instead of 4 meetings? Because if I get rid of those other 2 meetings, then that's a whole hour of my week back in my pocket. That is huge. So I try to
good.
make, I think it's really good to always have, if you're working with a vendor or something like that, always to have multiple bids. You want to understand if you're getting the best price and the best quality. And so I think it's, depending on the situation and the entrepreneur and what you're dealing with, it's looking at the data. What value is this actually? What am I hoping that this is going to derive? And then like making sure you do some of your research ahead of time so that you're not wasting your time. Because I can tell you from experience, I've wasted a lot of my time.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
at a point where I'm like, I just can't do that anymore. I just can't. And so I've
yeah.
really fine-tuned the understanding the value that could possibly be derived from this.
Good, good. All right, let's explore purpose. That's our second element of the happy formula. And Brittany, I've observed that major life transformations, the big discovery of purpose, so often comes from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something awful strips a life to its core, resulting in some big change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover the purpose of my life using inspiration. So how about you, Brittany? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the God-given purpose you were meant to live?
Yes, the earliest, I think there's been many, to be honest. And I think the earliest moment of experiencing this was I was probably 12, and I was babysitting. And the family, it's like two kids, family goes out to dinner. And when they come back, the kids were in bed, asleep, and I had completely reorganized the entire kitchen and playroom. And the mom and dad were like, "Oh my gosh, do you do garages?" Like, I was like, "Well, I'm 12. I think that's like child labor." So I had to ask my parents. But I think that was when I really realized that I had a skill that someone else thought was valuable. Now, I
Ah,
didn't yet know at that time that it was a skill that I could monetize, but it was a skill I realized I had, and I started practicing it more and more with friends and family. And so for me, a really pivotal light changing light bulb moment, if you will, was probably about 12, maybe 15 years backwards. I was in church and my pastor was talking on the element of pain to purpose. And it just hit me that why I do what I do as an adult. That if we take our painful experiences, if we heal from those things and don't stay victimized by them, we can find passion in that pain. And that passion can lead us to a purpose to solve that painful experience for others, if you will. And so I was in church sitting there, my pastor's talking about this, and it was like, that's why I do what I do as an adult.
mm,
That's why I live. Be More Organized mission is to help people feel more calm and efficient and at home and in their space, and turn their home into a place that they really can rejuvenate and rest, because I think we are far too unaware of how our homes are yet just another space in our lives that requires and demands so much of us, where we don't feel like we can just rest. And I think it's why we walk into hotel rooms and we love going on vacation, is because a hotel room doesn't demand anything of you. There's no broken things or paint that's chipping or piles of paperwork. And so our goal is to turn homes into restful spaces. And so it's
now did,
it's through. Go ahead.
didn't you, I think when we talked, you said that your young home life was not a peaceful environment.
No, yeah, it was not. I had a lot of sexual abuse in my childhood. I was adopted at the age of 16. And I would say I never felt loved. I never felt wanted. I never felt safe in my environment. So chaos essentially is definitely what I grew up in. And so I think it's no I'm blanking on the word. What is it? No uh it totally makes sense that as an adult, I'm doing exactly what I am, that
So
I
you,
am.
so you used organization as a way to have some control over something in a world where
Mhm.
you didn't have control. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's powerful. And I didn't know about the epiphany that you had in church. So that's when the pastor was talking about that, you just were able to look back and see that you had come through that pain. And part of the way you processed it was through organizing. And then you
Mhm.
had a skill for it, or you had a gift that was given to you for it.
Yes.
It may have been your gift to get you through your pain from God. And now you've got a
Mhm.
big business that is based on that. Am I getting that about right?
Essentially, yes. And I mean, it definitely are what we do to differentiate ourselves as a company is we go well beyond the bounds of organization to complete the entire to-do list for our client's home. So when we walk through a client's home, we're not just focused on buying some bins or baskets to organize their pantry. We might be building out a new pantry. We might be switching out the light in there if the light's too dim and buying them a new light fixture.
Mm,
We're going to get our handyman in to fix their leaky faucet or power wash the outside of their home. Whatever it is, because homes are a lot to manage these days, especially in the busy, ever demanding culture that we're in. And so I would say at the core of it, it's deeper than just organization. It's creating a space that
yeah,
actually is life giving. Because I think we are
yeah,
far too unaware that our homes are stressful for us. I think most
yeah,
people walk into their home and I have this large to-do list. I have so much I need to get done. I'm so overwhelmed. It's not a space that they really enjoy sitting in. And
yeah,
that's our goal. Our goal is to get our clients to where their home is a place that they don't have something on their to-do list. They're done. They can just walk in the door and be like,
yeah,
kind of that hotel feeling, right? You walk
yeah,
into the hotel and you're like, oh, it's clean. Someone's going to
yeah,
pick up after me.
yeah,
There's not piles of paperwork everywhere. And so
yeah.
that's our goal for our clients. And then we offer a refresh membership at like a weekly, monthly, quarterly cadence so that we can come into their lives and really support them in those healthy new habits that they're creating, and also just be there as an accountability partner to like ensure that they are growing in these organized ways.
Very good. All right. Thank you for that, Brittany. Now let's take a commercial
Welcome.
break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Sounds good.
Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made for good people. That's why I love Happy Living's online e-course. It's an 8-week-long deep dive into you and the inspired life you want to live. The life you were put here on this earth to live. The one that you and only you can live. 8 weeks of lectures and ideas and topics and supporting materials and powerful self-improvement tools. All designed for you. All designed to help you create the tools and the power and the confidence you need to discover your purpose and to discover the life you were meant to live and to feel incredibly inspired and motivated to decide you will live your life to its fullest. It's all designed to help you create the unique and distinct philosophy of you and your inspired life. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and save $100 with promo code WYTV7. And for every enrollment, I'll donate another $100 to WITV7. For $300 and about 30 hours, I promise you'll never, ever be the same again. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersberg. And my special guest star today is Brittany Moore. She's the founder and chief home organizer of Be More Organized, where she leads a team of talented and trained organizers that specialize in tackling their clients' entire to-do list. They seek to relieve stress and achieve a balance of design and functionality in areas of one's life that feels out of control. Brittany and her team establish calm and peace in your home, bring efficiency and time back to your day, and provide ongoing support so you can feel seen and understood. Oh, Brittany, I love that.
Matt, you nailed it.
and I
Good
think
job. Can you just walk around with me all day saying that?
I can follow you in my van. So
yeah.
I think you're going to love this article. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it says that the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It tells us that science says that giving our time and talents and treasure is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and overcoming difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, Brittany? Has giving your time and your talents and your treasure been a pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting past difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And I'll give you a quick little story real quick. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Soul Surfer. It's that true movie based on the girl who had her arm bitten off by a shark. It's a
Brittany
great
Hamilton.
True story. Yes, yes, thank you. Good job. So there's Carrie Underwood's in the movie, and Carrie Underwood is teaching a Bible study, and she's zooming in on these photos and asking the kids, hey, what is this? And they're being like, a bug, a piece of grass, cement. And then she zooms out of the picture and you can see what it is. And the whole meaning behind the practice is when you're too close to something, you can't fully understand it and you need to back up and gain perspective. And I honestly feel like that's what giving does for our mind, is when we're deep in our own suffering or pain or discomfort, if we get out and we give to someone else who's also in pain or going through something similar or not similar to what we're experiencing, it opens up that perspective where we're like, we're not alone. And it gets you like off being so laser focused on your own pain and what you're going through. And I promise you, if you're in pain, if you're going through something challenging, nothing can help you. No antidepressant can help you the way that giving to someone can.
100%. Yeah, just do something nice for someone. You mentioned Brittany
Yep.
Hamilton. I wrote about her and Viktor Frankl, and there's a gymnast who was born with no legs. I can't remember her name
Whoa!
right now. And all of them, the story was about, you look at what you're able to overcome. And it was about getting to their life through devastation. It was part of my book, Inspiration into Action. But I love that young woman she is so powerful. And I mean, getting your arm bit off and then getting right back in the water and surfing with one arm. That's crazy.
Talk about resilience.
Oh,
Wow.
I love it. So,
Yeah.
and I love this article that science that tells us that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives, and the joy that comes from the fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others, confirms it. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Brittany. I believe that the real magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose. So, Brittany, the audience and I would like to experience how it makes you feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work God put you on this planet to do, and the people all around you have taken notice. So just sit back for a moment, open your heart, and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact you're making on their lives by finding the magic of giving from living in your purpose. One person said, "My husband and I were blown away with what Brittany did in our kitchen." Another said, "Brittany provided fast and easy organization for our home. She did an amazing job. Even our tiniest of apartments feels expansive and in harmony. We couldn't have done it without her." Another said, "Brittany did an excellent job redecorating and organizing my condo." Others said, "Brittany is dedicated, attentive, determined, and pleasant. A team player, hardworking, but always with a smile. She accomplishes goals in the time schedules set. She's an excellent communicator and a beacon of professionalism." Others said about your process, "It's quick, painless, excellent, complete, worth the investment." Others described their homes as more peaceful, more efficient, more functional, and clutter-free. We couldn't recommend her or her company any higher. We'll definitely work with Brittany again. 5 stars and highly recommended. Her service streamlined our life. And finally, this person said, "I can't rave enough about what a lifesaver Brittany and Be More Organized has been to our family. She came in to help us organize our entire home after our move. What seemed extremely overwhelming to me was made to be simple and streamlined by her and her team." So, Brittany, how does all that incredible love make you feel?
Obviously, it feels really good. And at the core of it, I love knowing that I'm using my God-given skill set and leaving an impact on other people. And I think it's all for his kingdom, and we're a very Christian forward company. And so the opportunity to give and serve other people every day and leave every space that we walk into better than we found it, I can't think of a better thing to do every day.
Yep, and that's what this show is all about. It's finding that magic in each of our lives, and it's available to each of us. That's what I believe. It comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose, and giving from living in your purpose brings profound joy to your life and to the lives of those around you too. So it seems that giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So to better capture the exponential power of our happy formula, Brittany, I've got to tweak it just a tiny bit more. Power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power, and that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
Sounds about right.
Very good. All right, let's wrap things up with the
I'm not very
lightning
good at
round.
math, but it sounds right.
The math is solid. I'm sure of the math is solid.
Okay.
So let's wrap things up with words, a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity of great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites and have you tell us what they mean to you. Give us the first thing that comes to your mind, because we call this a lightning round.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
Ready.
From Sarah Young in her book, Jesus Calling, she said, "A life lived close to God is not complicated or cluttered."
When we're walking with God, morning by morning, day by day, we can better understand the right and the left he's asking us to make. It's so easy for us to get pushed faster by the world and to fall into culture. And I think when we stay close to God, we know that he's clearly saying, nope, today I need you to go right, or today I need you to go
Hmm.
left. And so
Hmm.
that's what that speaks to me.
I like how you say fall into culture. We do that too often and too easily. This is
Yep.
from,
We're on autopilot.
yeah, this is from Paul Hawken. He said, go deep into a specialty, get a customer, make them happy.
I think in business, it's always good to have an idea for like what your competition is doing, but always stay laser focused on what the customer needs. My biggest inspiration in terms of a business that I would just love to become if I could is the Four Seasons. I love their CEO, Isadora Sharp. He's a big believer that if you feed into your team and into that culture and provide them with all the tools and processes that they need to be successful, that they will then feed the client and it'll become this just beautiful cycle. And
Mm,
so for me, it's yeah, how to stay focused on what the client needs, and you do that by feeding your team.
love it. This is from Grandpa George in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He said that there's plenty of money out there. They print more every day.
Mm. That I think when you look at culture and you look at really successful people, you look at celebrities, you look at really wealthy people, the amount of them that are on antidepressants, or the amount of just I don't even want to say like suicides, but like I remember a couple of years ago, there were multiple
Oh,
celebrities that committed
yeah.
suicide. And I think this idea, unfortunately, in culture, when you're not aware of like God and his intentions and you fall into culture, that fame and money will bring you happiness, is it couldn't be more wrong. To their point, they're printing more of it every single day.
Yeah.
Money will never make you happy. I work with a lot of really high-end celebrities and high-end clients, and I can tell you, I see it. They're always striving to buy more and buy more and buy
Yeah.
more, and they're not fully happy inside. So
Grand,
money does not bring happiness
Grandpa
or
Charlie was
joy.
a wise guy. Uh, okay, this is an African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I am light years more successful since I added a team. I did it by myself for a long time before I got smart and added a team to my company and added that structure to every city that we scale into. And it used to take me 6, 7, 8 days to work through an entire home and organize an entire home. And now we can do it in about 4 to 6 days. And we can do it with an even deeper level of detail and understanding, as there's 4 to 5 people there, all serving, all with the
Mhm.
same goal to help the client. And so there's very few successful people that get to the top because they did it all by themselves. It's just, I don't even think
Yep.
it's possible.
Yep. This is from Bruce Lee. He said, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own.
I just feel like that speaks to organization. Declutter all the things that you don't need because they are just taking up space in your home. And everything in your life, everything that you add to your life demands something of you. You have to clean it, you have to move it, you have to put it back where you found it, demands something. And so when we declutter our lives and we only allow into our lives the things that really add value, I think that's when we find a lot more peace and a lot more efficiency.
Now, would you add people to that too? Only allow the people in your life that add value, and discard the people that are clutter,
I
that make you feel bad.
I couldn't be more in line. I mean, I know it sounds a little bit like rough, but like I after you've gone through a lot of pain in some of the ways that I have, I can like almost just pick up on when
Yep.
someone has the depth that I crave in a friendship, in a romantic relationship, anything. It's
Yep.
I want love is a thing of depth, right? A fish on the surface will die. And I think love and friendship and a meaningful relationship is the same way. If left on the surface, it will die. It needs depth. And I
Yeah.
think depth is vulnerability as well. And I think
Mm.
it takes really brave, emotionally intelligent people to be vulnerable. And so, yeah, I would say learn what that looks like and discard the people who aren't going to meet you where you are.
The hot fish on the surface. And this is from Goth. It's our show anchor. He said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Take a step forward every single day. When you're starting something new, and all of my businesses, I would say, in some form or fashion, are new, are doing things differently. There's no roadmap for me to follow that, oh, now I have to do this, and now I have to do this, and now check this
Yep.
box. I'm figuring it out every day. And I try to put as much intentionality and research and data behind those decisions as I can. But sometimes you just have to jump and see if
Yep.
it was the right decision. And so every single day, you just kind of have to make one more move in a direction. And if you're staying close to God, it's the direction that He's guiding you in.
Right. Very good. Very good. And now, folks, it's your chance to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Brittany Moore, won't you please share a little love with our wonderful broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7? They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Brittany, I love that your favorite part of working with your clients is transforming their chaos into beautiful, organized, life-changing systems. And I admire your belief that God put us on this earth to be His hands and feet, and how you're doing that by helping others, creating more peace and efficiency in their lives. And I'm super happy that you've shared your creative, entrepreneurial, and God-loving spirit on our show today. Would you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
I think at the end of the day, no one on this planet is going to be kept from pain, from struggle, from suffering. And if there's one wish that I think would help everyone on this planet, is if we all learned to sit in that struggle and process it and feel it and learn from it and grow from it and find passion in it, we would create a culture that gives to others and helps others and is more empathetic towards others. And so I would say that's really what has propelled me to be where I am today. Without that, I wouldn't be in a position to be serving in the capacity that I am. And I think so many people out there are stuck feeling, whether it's feeling like that victim of the pain that they experienced or feeling stuck in the depression. And I think that's why we have so many, that's why anxiety is on the rise. It's why depression is on the rise. It's why, for so many reasons, mental health is deteriorating. And so I think if we all learned how to better process our pain and use it for good and turn that around, I can't tell you how life-giving it is. And the last thing I'll say is, I experienced sexual abuse, and I can't tell you the number of times that I would be sitting on an airplane and I'd open up to the person next to me and they would say, that happened to me too. And I was the first person in their entire life that they had shared their story with. And the weight that I could feel that was taken off of them in that moment, that skeleton in the closet that they had been hiding for decades, that they've got to let out and realize that it's not as damaging as they're making it to be. Because when we live in isolation and when we keep those secrets in isolation and we don't allow our community and people around us to speak into that, we just rabbit hole down on those. And so through those experiences of sharing my pain and helping others, it takes that sting away. That pain that you feel because of what happened to you, that can be taken away if you get out there and you give to other people and you serve at your church or at a food bank or anything. There's so many opportunities that'll help you gain perspective. And then secondly, share your story. Be vulnerable, be courageous. I promise you there's someone else out there who's been through it and who hearing your story is going to change their life. And through doing that, it will be the best medicine you could ever put on that pain.
Very nice. Thank you, Brittany.
Welcome.
I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Brittany and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to social media and all things Brittany Moore. Find her, friend her, begin the process of getting more organized and becoming less stressed with a free online consultation. We'll post it all in our show notes. From me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz, because measuring your happy helps you focus attention on it, and focusing attention on it attracts change and learning and improvement, all to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then would you give some thought to what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.